Welcome to Breakthroughs with Jeff. And this is the place where we live life with zero limits. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm good, Mary. Thank you so much. I'm
I hear
grateful.
it's raining in Nairobi today.
It's raining. It's a blessing. Rain is a blessing.
It is a
It's
blessing.
raining.
I'm joining you today from Dallas, Texas. It is 5 degrees Celsius, but guess what?
Uh-huh.
I have my Destiny Life coaching mark on, and I see you also have your match on today. So we are representing from around the globe.
Yes.
Yes.
Destiny Life Coaching.
Around the world, around the
Thank
globe.
you for representing. Thank you for representing, Mary. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm happy to hear that. Well, Jeff, glad that it's blessings back in Nairobi. And today, I wanted to talk about something interesting, something that is constant, something that will always be present in our lives. Yeah. And that is change. Change will come from being students to working, from working to parents. If someone takes that from parents to grandparents, changing where we live, changing, having change in our workplaces. So change is that one thing that is constant, right? And so, Jeff, I wanted to think through the transformation. We've been talking about people discovering their purpose, and as they discover their purpose and they step into it, a lot of change is going to come. Change that may lead to fear, change that may be resisted. And we see this across our personal lives and even within organization, right? So I wanted us to delve into change. Here is this thing that is constant, and yet we resist it so much without understanding that perhaps change is good. Perhaps it could transform us into the direction of our purpose. It could lead us to evolving, even in the workplace. And so let's talk about resistance when it comes to change. Why do you think humans are wired to feel some type of resistance towards change, and others are actually open to change?
Yeah, in fact, majority of the human population are resistant to change. Anytime you want to make a new transformation organizationally, in your personal life, in a group, in a family, any change will be resisted. Why? We always are comfortable with the comfort zone, with the status quo, the way things are. We have a very high need, Mary, for certainty, the need to be sure of ourselves. So when you tell me you're promising me something better, talking about political and even organizational change, then I'm asking, really, how can I trust that this will be good for me? How can I trust that this will really help me? And that's why people resist change, is because of their need for certainty, and they are holding on to what they know, because they are uncertain of maybe the promise you're making. But I tell you, Mary, this world has been changed by leaders and people that knew how to facilitate change, even when people don't want to change, because that is the mark of leadership. Is to be in a place where you can bring change in the world, even when people you are leading didn't want to change. Because there's no point where people invite you with a smile and they want to change. When it comes to organization or group leadership, people always want things to remain the same, and people want, you to remain the same. In fact, there are people, when you change, they will think you're a bad person, because they're not resisting you, they're resisting change. And so
question for you right there.
Yeah.
We've talked about certainty being, the primary reason why people resist change. Yeah. But let's think about personal gain, right? When it's not even about, it's not even really about certainty, but it's also about someone looking at it and trying to connect with, how do I gain from that change?
How do I gain?
So would we also say personal preferences or personal connections with the change also have an influence to change itself?
It does, Mary. And it's actually, when you're asking the question, how do I gain? is actually connected to certainty, because you want to be sure it is change that you can, remember Obama's slogan, change you can believe in. You know, that's a leader of change. You bring about change. People must believe in the change. Now, there are people that think you can force change on people. If you're listening to us and you're an organizational leader, I tell you, that'll be the worst move, no matter how powerful you are. You're more powerful when you lead through people. And when people can know that this change will benefit them. And that's why in the process of bringing change, you want to communicate to the people and you want to bring them to buy into the vision of change. There are processes of bringing people together to rally towards change, because unless you do that, in fact, studies by John Cotter, one of the world-renowned change experts and a lecturer at Harvard Business School, he said that 70%, no, unless 70% of the organization has bought into your change, you've not succeeded. 70%. So you cannot just lead an organization alone. You see, that's why leadership is influence. And so, yeah.
But what happens in a scenario whereby it's a good idea and you have 70% of them just, you have the, I don't know if the word is the wrong people, to mean that they're progressive and they're people who just want to be, and you find yourself in a point where you're a leader, you want to lead the direction of our company towards the next step, but you have 70% of people who are not progressive, who must be certain of their next move. How do you still navigate change in such an environment where the majority are not progressive?
Now that means you've not arrived to that place of people buying into the change. So you need more time. You need to apply this Cotter's process. Cotter actually suggests some steps that you can follow. And the first step, Mary, is creating a sense of urgency. Like among the group members and the people that you want to change, you want to create a sense of urgency. How do you do that? By leverage. Leverage meaning that you have to show people why not changing equals to pain. You see, because most people don't know why should I change. In fact, if you're a leader or a political leader, organizational leader, you want to bring change, you have to help your people. And this is why coaching is so crucial, that you can help your people see what is the pain of not changing. Unless they see that not changing equals to pain, they will resist change. They think that you're just here for your selfish gains and you're just promising them you're doing this for yourself. If it doesn't lead, if they don't think that, not changing equals to pain to them, they will not be invested in the change leadership. So the first step is creating that sense of urgency about change, that people feel, oh no, by the way, we should have changed many years ago. And that is what leaders are about. Leaders bring out an idea that never existed and help people to see it as an idea that should have been done many, many, many years ago. And if you're maybe listening to Mary and I, and you're that kind of a leader, I want to encourage you. I tell you, maybe you've been discouraged in the past trying to rally people towards an idea and they're not coming. And then you blame it on yourself. It's not about you. Maybe it's the process. And this process want to propose to you, and it's been highly influenced by John Cotter, and it's a process of bringing change even when people don't want to change. So the first one is The first one
making
is
them buy in, showing them
making them
that
buy in
change, that
is
not
urgent.
changing is equals to pain. Yeah, and that
Yes.
it's an urgent. And you know, that's interesting because I agree with you, right? Because
Yeah.
I feel like I think you can be able to really navigate the 70% if you can clearly be able to show them that change is urgent. And perhaps that's the first disconnect, because
Yes.
people know that the change is progressive, but perhaps how they articulate it in a way that can connect with the people is still missing. Hence, the buy-in is not there.
Exactly.
That's
Because
interesting.
I know, why am I changing? Especially someone, Mary, especially someone that has, you know, the system has served them for years, and you're telling them we need to change. They have to see the pain.
Yeah.
They have to see the pain. So that creating that sense of urgency, that is actually what makes you a leader. But then the second point is as important. After you create a sense of urgency and everyone feels pain in their seat, they feel no, it should have happened many years ago. You create what? Coalition, a powerful coalition. You want to look at the organization as who do I put where? Who do I choose? So it's sort of like you need a team, because you cannot do it alone. You need a change team. So you can create a change team, people that have sold out. So you look at people like Mary, you are totally sold out, and they say, Mary, you are in that team. You're in that team. You're in that team. And you're not just looking at the top management, because you can have people in the top management that are not really bought into that.
Correct.
You want to look at everyone across the board, all the way to the person on the ground. So you're looking for powerful coalition of people that can help you bring that sense of change. Don't do it alone. Don't do, and that's why if you apply this in your personal life, this is why we encourage personal coaching. Because when you want to bring a change, you realize there's actually a team inside of you that is resistant to change. Resistant to change. And unless, so you're creating, who do I have in my world that can help me in bringing about this change? Okay, so it's crucial. This is also in your personal life. It's not just for groups and corporate leadership. It's also in your personal life. If you want to change, it has to begin with an urgency for change. If you tell yourself the story that, oh, it is so slow, there's no, then your mind locks the urgency. There's no pain. You should not see the pain of changing immediately.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, so you want to dig deeper to see what is the pain of remaining the same, the way I am.
Awesome. So I know you've covered 2 steps, the action. Is there a third
3,
step?
let me go to the third step, Mary. The third step is about vision. Okay. Vision for change, because again, there's a process. There's a process that you've already created the urgency that change needs to happen. But then don't think it will happen that day, because there are people who've not bought in. There are people who are still resisting. There are people who smile at you, but inside they are not with you. So you need the process to sieve out and know, okay, who is in and who is out. So create the vision. And then number 4, you want to communicate the vision.
Before you actually go to the 4th one, I have a couple of questions between 2 and 3. From my observation, I would think that once you've been able to show that this urgent action is required, that you should start with the vision before forming a powerful coalition. And the reason I'm thinking that way is because I'm thinking the powerful coalition, the people you identify, you're identifying them because they are tied to a vision in this area and this area. So would you say, and maybe you can give me your thoughts, but wouldn't you say that the vision should come first? Because it's like you're telling this is a change. Let's create this vision and then identify who can lead the different aspects. But what are your thoughts around that?
You see, the vision we're talking about here is the vision for the process of change, because the change itself is a process. So let's say, okay, so you've already communicated that there's need for us to change. So that's also to some level, that's vision. When you say,
okay.
oh, we cannot
okay.
remain the same. This, of course, everyone as long as you bring in the idea of the pain of remaining the same, most 70% will buy in.
Yeah.
Then you're choosing those that you see they are totally sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, but also here you're choosing people that you know for sure have gotten their buy-in. They are buying totally into the change. But then now the change vision, like let's say
the process
of change.
Mm-hmm.
Like even our
now
country,
executing it.
One of the things that I feel, for guys who don't know, by the way, I come from Kenya. Hello.
We come from Kenya. Hello.
Yeah. So one of the things, Mary, if you ask me, that I feel like it's not really been managed properly and professionally in our country is actually our education. Mm-hmm. Like the way we changed our education system, we moved from the 844 now all the way straight to this CBC, the new system. Number one, there was no coordination of the main stakeholders. Like teachers were not consulted. These people were told what to do, so they did not buy in. So you see, right now where we are as a country, the university is saying we are not ready for the guys who are coming through the new system. We are not ready for them. So that brings a leadership problem because change was not well managed. And so this is not just about nations, it's about families and it's about organizations. When you think your idea is so good and you just want to baptize people into the idea, you are wrong. You are totally wrong. You want people to buy in, and that's why you want to select. And these people that actually we are calling the key stakeholders, they are people that know, a lot about what the change you're making, but they have also bought into the change. And it's very important, the powerful coalition. Because you can have a powerful coalition of family members and you're leading a nation. And other people are bringing only family members in their committee.
True.
They're saying, yeah, we have this coalition. There is no way you can bring a change that way. And somehow that change will either be resisted or it will not work. And that's the case we are going through right now in my country. Is about buy-in, and people are saying we should have consulted, the stakeholders, we should have consulted the professionals. These are the people you bring into the table to actually process change.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't force them to change just because they're employees.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the third one is vision. Mary?
Yes, the third one is vision. Yes, and this is really implementing that change management process.
The change.
Now, yes. Okay.
Like now, for example, the one I've given about the curriculum, so we'd have had a team that will come up with these are the stages of implementation. A, B, C, D. We'll do this and this at this level, at this, these are the stages, and everyone buys in because they can see.
Yes.
But then the fourth step, Mary, is communicating the vision. How do you communicate that vision of change? Communicating so that everyone buys into the vision. Communicate in words that are clear, in words that are relevant, in words. Communication is powerful, but you want to be as simple as possible and also connect to people's needs and see how they'll be affected and all that. Bring them on board so they can buy in. It's not just about you.
Yeah, and it's interesting now when you talk about communication, because in the example that you've given, I can see where the breakdown was, because the children we expect to go to these schools or follow these systems, their parents are not clear how does this system run? Why was it introduced? So there are a lot of gaps in their mind. And somehow, in line with what you've said, not somehow, but definitely in line with what you've said, there is that buy-in is not there, you know. And I think that's the reason, from my knowledge, homeschooling is really on the rise in Kenya.
Yeah, exactly.
If you compare to what it was 5-10 years ago, it's on a crazy rise.
Yeah, and these are parents just say, okay, I'll do it my way. And this is where you have people, and when it comes to leadership, this is how you lose great people that would have been so crucial to your success, to the change you want, because you did not communicate and just say, okay, and then I find another way, and you've lost a crucial person to actually facilitate your change.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we think, because of our own insecurities, I think, Mary, some of the reasons why leaders don't share on that level is just that we are insecure, or maybe don't trust that people buy in, and then you blame people. But sometimes it's just because of communication.
Indeed.
I can blame you for leaving me. Instead of looking at my communication skills, I did not communicate. And you see, communication is not saying something. Communication is what the other person hears. It's not what I say, is what they hear. So we have to have a relationship. I ask you, Mary, what did you hear? What did you hear me say? And if you tell me, how do you say this, then, and I reflect, I say, yes, exactly, then there is communication. But when I just tell you, oh, Mary, do this, and you do this, you get this, and this, there is no communication. And I'm not confirming, is it actually received on the other side, which is really, truly crucial to communication. Indeed, and this brings us to point number 5, Mary, obstacles. How you want to look at, what are the obstacles? What are the challenges still? Because remember, not everyone bought into the change.
Yes.
And sometimes there are people that you find in an organization that will just resist change, not because they can't see the benefit of change, but because they hate you, or they don't like, or something, or they just have an attitude. So that becomes a challenge, because that person may not go with you through the process. And those are the challenges. At this step, you want to remove the challenges. There are people, maybe you might have to have a one-on-one conversation and have are you in or out? In fact, what the experts recommend is for such people that just resist for the sake of resistance, and there's no point really, the advice is to let them go. To let them go. To let them, because they can hold the organization back, they can hold the vision back, and they can just be there holding things back for no reason. So you want to look at what are the obstacles?
Yeah. And I think something that when I think about obstacles, I also think that, as you said, you know, you're going to have these obstacles. How do you resolve them? But also, if you hit an obstacle that you didn't expect, how quickly do you resolve it? You know, because I think there's a quote by Napoleon Hill. The reason why people fail, I think he says the reason why, I believe it's Napoleon Hill, if I'm not wrong, but he says the reason why people fail is that when they hit an obstacle, they did not create a new plan. To me, you know, that's like definitely,
that. I like that. Yeah. And that's why, so you hit the obstacle can actually come even in the process. People getting tired. Like you can bring a change and people bought in the beginning, but at some point they get tired. They get tired of the waiting. And this is where the number 6 step comes in, creating short wins. Like you can celebrate, oh, we've done this and this, let's celebrate. Yes, and everyone is celebrating. It's not just about you as the leader. They're not celebrating you. We celebrate as a team. And so those short-term wins are crucial, where you can celebrate what has happened, and you can reward actually people that have contributed more to change. Okay, so they are totally sold out, or someone who moved from a certain level to totally sold out. You can acknowledge them and reward them. Okay, those wins, those short-term wins, you can reward. You can reward them, and that encourages. It's like a new fuel. It's like you've driven all the way from Nairobi, you're going to the coast, stop by somewhere, just relax. You know, that relaxation is a reward. Short and
Yes,
win.
indeed.
Take a drink.
Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself. Yeah. But then the next step is build on the change. Like most people marry, and this is through research. The most people, when they see a small success, they settle. Most people think change has happened just because they have maybe created one product or they have seen one success. That's you know, according to leadership experts, change needs to be, you know, you want to build on change. It's not just one thing. You're just changing in one area and then you're thinking everything has changed. You want to build on that so that it's a force. It's a force. Yeah, it's not just one thing that happened and you celebrate, you sit and throw a party.
Yes, that is true. And I think that's where sometimes those who start something end up failing because they feel like, oh, I have had one win. Let me stop there and let me not build on it. But I think it's, as you've said, it's really building on that change and not stopping there until you fully implemented it, until it is a system that now becomes a new normal.
Keep going. And sometimes, you know, Mary, you're bringing a change, and at some level, there were people who did not accept. There are people who are still buying in. So you're also building on bringing them on board. And even bringing experts is also a way of building on change.
That's true.
You're making it solid. Now everyone is within the mind of everyone that this is new. This is the way we talk here. This is the way we dress here. Now it becomes culture. And this is the last step. You know, you build a culture. You anchor in, or what we call condition the change to become a culture. It's not just change, it's actually culture. It's a new culture now. You can bring, let's say you're in your organization today, maybe there's a culture of people being lazy, people not working so hard, and you want to bring a culture of what? Peak performance. So on step number 8, you condition that. You condition that in a way that it's a culture. Now, as you do these things, Mary, as a leader, you lead by example. It's not something you're telling people.
So as you go through those steps, you make sure that you yourself, you're not only bought in, you're bought into the vision, you're part of implementing that vision, you're communicating the right way, you're managing those obstacles, you're creating short wins, you know, you're building on that change as well.
Exactly. You're not just telling people, oh, do this, you and you, which is what we love to do, is to command people around. Then you're not a leader. Leadership is influence, and influence means you actually are pulling me towards being like you, acting like you, and loving the kind of experience you are having as a leader. And so this is how you change, you bring about change in culture. This is how we are going to change the world.
Indeed.
Mary, as a coach, Mary, you have a vision, you have a mission.
Yes.
That mission needs to be urgent.
Yes, it needs to be urgent. I agree. I agree.
That mission has to be so, and it's you to create the urgency, because the mission was given to you. You know, Mary, dreams have no witnesses.
Yes.
Dreams are given to us. Dreams are given to me, to you personally. Even with your spouse, with someone you share a bed, you will never share a dream. No, you will dream and tell them, I dreamed like this. And so that dream you have, and let me speak now on personal level. That vision and the dream you have, let me begin by saying it's possible. There's nothing on this planet. I mean, this world has seen impossibilities being done. But I want you to know, unless you are sold out to a level where you can begin to create an urgency, and you just feel your feet are on fire, like Paul, you feel burning, your belly is burning, you can't even sit, you can't sleep, you can't even eat, because there's an urgency. But then you cannot be, consumed alone. You want to You want to work with people. You want to form the powerful coalition and create the vision for change.
Yes.
Create a vision. You cannot do this alone. That's where we have Destiny Life coaching, coaches all spread all over the world, is because there's a vision and someone one day said, I can't fit on this vision alone. And so I felt the urgency and I say now, and that's how Destiny Life coaching was born. You have to feel the urgency, give birth to the vision, create a powerful coalition. For me, as the coaches, that's my team, my powerful coalition. Create, the vision for change, which is taking them through a 3-month transformational process where they can buy in to the change and to the urgency of change. And I communicate the vision. We remove the obstacles, which are the beliefs holding them back, and then create short-term wins, the graduation, the certification, telling you, thank you. In fact, tomorrow we have a wonderful day of celebrating 15 coaches. We are rewarding them and telling them this is just the beginning, telling them to build on that change. You're not ending here. Make it permanent. Make it.
I love that. I love that. I was going to summarize the same points, but I don't think there's even need to, because as you've gone through, and I like that the fact that you've actually used your own experience and you've gone through and really hit on those key points that you've just expounded on earlier. And it's very clear. It's very clear. One, change is possible. Change is not constant. And thank you so much, Jeff, today for just being able to guide us on how we can take a new perspective when we're approaching change, because I think that that's what's missing. I think sometimes it's just missing the perspective of how we navigate change, how we implement change, and how we tackle obstacles and how we communicate. So thank you for bringing that to life. And I hope, for those who are looking for personal transformation or organizational transformation, they can see that change is possible if there are some order of steps that they implement to make it possible.
That's right. Thank you, Mary, and thank you for pulling it out of me. You make it so easy.
I like that. I like that.
Thank you so much.
I like that our series brings that out from everyone. Okay, well, thank you all. And for anyone who needs to discuss further, whether it's personal change, whether it's organizational change, Destiny Life Coaching is there. Breakthrough with Jeff is there on his own platform. And I know, Jeff, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you always leave a link down for people to be able to connect with you on the same.
That's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
Until next time, stay safe, stay